a lot of people in January, they're ready to hit the gym and they're going to lose 20 pounds this year and blah, 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 blah. So how many times does that actually happen?
Exactly.
So what we're doing is we're focusing on losing weight. So losing is a negative term. And in our human brain, if we dig down, anytime we lose something, if we lost a ring, if we lost our favorite pair of shoes, we want to find it. So the universe, when we want to lose weight, will sorry. It wants us to find it again, right?
Or will make you not want to lose it because you know that when you lose something, you're sad.
Yes, exactly. So we don't think pounds and we don't think negative. We think positive. This year, I'm going to eat healthier. So not healthy, because healthy is too much of an extreme for a lot of people. I still want that donut. I still want that piece of pizza. But in general, I'm going to eat healthier and I'm not going to kick myself when I don't.
Yeah. And then you come to me and I'll help you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but healthier, I prefer that than healthy. Yeah, absolutely. That's
yeah.
Welcome back. We are on today with my guest Lynn on I'm Tall for This Shit podcast. I'm Angie S, the founder of angies.com, link in the show notes, where I'm a health coach who specializes in biochemistry, genetics, immunology, physiology, and pharmacology. I help my clients via one-on-one coaching, online, and in real life group coaching as well, where I help women like you and me who don't fit into the extremes, help you implement healthier habits that don't manage you. I'm about tips and tricks that work, make sense, and help you stay on top of it without making you bored to tears. So we're talking what you eat, put on your skin, and do to feel your best. I like to bridge science and the alternative. I'm basically interested in what's efficient, what gives you the fastest result, and what is sustainable in the long run. So why did I start this podcast? Well, I started this podcast because I wanted to open up the conversation around less obvious aspects of health, such as sex, dating, relationships, and feeling like a misfit. I think those are a different way of empowering both men, women, and non-binary. And of course, I'm still covering health topics as that's my passion. So today I brought Lynn on to talk about how to nail 2020 and how to let go of 2019 and to keep what's useful for the year ahead and how to plan 2020 with more clarity. So between Lynn and I, we give you a varied bag of tricks on how to do this. Lynn is sort of more the spiritual way and how to manifest and have your intentions. And I give you more the practical way. So a little warning, I got overexcited sharing how I plan my year. You may want to slow down the track to house speed on your player if I talk too fast. So let's begin. And welcome back again, Lynn.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you so much for being game for like 2 episodes in a row. So for those of you who haven't met Lynn yet, we did an episode a while back on how to use our intuition and not our ego when picking our forever person to avoid those crash and burn whirlwinds. It's called Be Psychic, Not a Psycho in Love, episode number 12. And also we did an episode last week to cover how to navigate Christmas holidays without completely losing our mind. And that's episode 19. So for those of you who haven't listened to any of them yet, Lynn, please introduce yourself, what you do, and please introduce yourself. Sorry. Hi, Lynn, please. Lynn, please introduce yourself, what you do and where you live.
My name is Lynn Nicholls. I am an intuition expert and a psychic medium, and I live in Niagara Falls, Canada. So the city of the most gorgeous waterfall.
Perfect. Okay, so this week we're doing part 2 of the holiday season. So today we're going to be talking about how we're entering into the new year. Well, actually the new decade, because it's 2020 now. And the whole section around resolutions, the best way to stick to them, you know, all coming from your experience, Lynn. and also share how I plan my years year on year. So this episode will come out on the 30th of December. So just on time for people to plan ahead to, or just in time for New Year's Eve, basically. So
perfect.
Lynn, I was just wondering, I know when we spoke about doing this episode, you mentioning about clearing out 2019's leftovers. So like a prep, and then you build on it to plan ahead. So would you like to share that with us today?
Sure. I find a lot of people come in and they're saying 2019 was the crappiest year I've ever had, and I don't know how I'm going to move forward into another whole decade, like you mentioned, with this. And what happens is they keep dwelling on the past and they keep reliving it in their mind and going over and over. So I take them to the next step. So let's look at what was so bad about it. And some things, in all honesty, when you lean more toward common sense than emotion, some things actually weren't that bad. So first we have to reframe. You have to reframe your perspective on it. Was it actually that bad? Probably not. Did I learn anything from it? Did I learn anything about myself, positive or negative? Okay, that gives me something to build on. And then there are the things that just kept reoccurring. This happened, and then that happened, and then over and over and over again. So you have to look at those things and think, what was the common thread here? What was the feeling that it brought up in me each time? And here we go back deep down in your soul. Do some soul searching and see, what did that teach me? And it's that old saying, instead of thinking, this is horrible, think about, what is this teaching me? What did I learn? Because once you get a lesson plan ready for 2020, you've got somewhere to start with. So you can start, instead of dwelling on the past, you can start with a way of moving forward. You can get a plan together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think if you, like you said, like sometimes people, they may sort of looking back and going, oh, this is all what went wrong. But I mean, I don't know if it's okay, like if I just share like maybe how I sort of look back on the year that's been.
Sure.
So what I like to do is I like to look back and go into like, okay, what are the things that, because, it's, we all are always critics, and I'm always like, so often I just beat myself up, thinking it's not great. I should have done more. It's not good enough, X, Y, Z. But actually, every time I do this following exercise, I actually put things in perspective, and it sort of gets me more motivated again, which is important when you have to have your own back and motivate yourself nowadays. You can't just rely on other people.
Course.
Yeah. And so what I do is I look back and I go, okay, what are the things I've achieved? What am I proud of? Because in 12 months, I can assure you there'll be something that you've done, whether it's like, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be like, oh, you just got a puppy and actually it's still alive. Are you really happy with it? It could be anything. And there will be something, whether it's in your work, in your personal life, things that you've learned about yourself. It could be risks that you've taken. And it doesn't matter if it was like, you felt like a failure. If you've learned something from it, you can be part of that lesson that you've learned. And I think what that will indicate as well for a lot of people is that once you go back and look at the things you're proud of, or things that make you feel happy and good about yourself, it gives you an indication as well, I think, of what are the things you want to focus more on going forward. Because if you realize actually this bit or this hobby or this thing you did at work or something in your personal life, if that is that thing that's really sort of standing out for you, maybe you need to explore that a bit more and give it more space and opportunity in the next year.
That's perfect. It was focus on what you're good at, what went well, because that after fixing the things that you think you needed improvement, the things that went well, you start at a jumping off point that's higher than those. And you start out with a more solid base and more self-confidence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think because we all do things, I mean, I've made some terrible choices sometimes and decisions,
Oh, we all do, of course.
But those are always like things that we've learned. Certain things have cost me quite a bit of money. Other things have caused me, pain. It's been
heartache.
Exactly. But those things, next time you may be looking over a contract, everything like the small letter, or next time you may not, choose business partners, however it is that you choose to do, more wisely, listening to yourself. That's usually is a big one too.
It's huge. You have to trust your gut.
Yeah. And also, yeah. And I think if you also write down those things that sort of that you are either proud of or what was important to you, and write down why. Because once you write down why as well, you go, oh, okay, every time it says I followed my gut or my curiosity, or it's because health matters to me or growing as a person matters to me. That is also a way to sort of give you an indication of what to do, to what to put more time around in the following year.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so to go back now, so let's say you've cleared out 2019's leftovers. How, I mean, is there, before we move to the next stage, like what would you say to people if they've really had like, a crappy year and they don't feel like they'll get any better next year? They may have, they may feel like sometimes people find it really difficult to find things that they're proud of because they just can't see themselves, with perspective, or more objectively. So what would you say to someone, they can't see, if it's been crap, it's going to be crap next year. What would you say to them so they can sort of set the stage differently next year?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, it's all about mindset. But I do understand once you get in a funk, sometimes it's really hard to get out of that funk. So it could be important to talk to somebody who has no vested interest in you. Like it could be great to talk to a therapist or somebody like that. But if you want to do it for yourself, coming from my point of view, a lot of it has to do with the energy you're surrounding yourself with. So clearing out all the old energetic garbage will make a ton of new room for good things. And I'm not saying people have to be happy and joyful and skipping over rainbows all the time. Because people think that's what happiness is. And it's not. It's not at all. Yeah. But if you can get a hold of, like you said, what you're good at, and move from there, that's important. So what I do tell people, because they can get very scattered, is to try something if you're not used to it. And this is where I come from, or where I come in, is something a little outside of the box. So there's a few ways you can get rid of last year's garbage and connect more to what's going to happen. And the most basic is called grounding. So the easiest way to ground, if you're not in a very snowy place, is to go outside in your bare feet and put them on the earth, put them in the grass, put them in the dirt, and just stand there and feel it and feel yourself connected. Because when you are all over the place and everything seems to be falling apart, your energy is all scattered. So you can imagine that your body is like the waves of a very angry ocean. And you stand outside and just breathe the fresh air. And if you don't have outside to go to, it's okay. You can just sit in a nice space that you enjoy. And you imagine that your body is the waves of an ocean, and then consciously calm them down till they're a still pond and it looks like it's just glass. So it's taking your mind away from you and getting you to focus on something else, like water or wind or something that we're surrounded by all the time, and calming that visualization down. And then when you get to that, then you can start to think, what do I do next? What can I do next? What was I good at? A lot of people have a lot of trouble just calming their mind. Another thing you can do to actually clear out all the negative energy and all that woo-woo kind of stuff is, you've probably heard of the white light of protection before. And there's lots of
I have, but maybe others haven't. If you don't mind just explaining just briefly what you mean by that.
Sure. There's lots of white light of protection visualizations you can do online. You can find them online. And the important thing for people to know is you don't have to be able to meditate to do this. You don't have to have a great imagination to be able to do this. It doesn't need to take an hour. It can just take a few moments. So what I tell people to do is you can actually go outside. If you have trouble visualizing and it's a sunny day or a bright night with a full moon, go outside and just picture that sunlight. Feel the sunlight on the top of your head and let it sit there and see how good it feels. And imagine all your troubles. Imagine all of 2019 in a color. So what is your color of 2019 if you feel it wasn't good? Is it gray? Is it brown? Let's stay away from black. That's too intense. Is it like a muddy green? Pick a color that's not the happiest color. And then feel this sunlight over the top of your head and feel it warming your skin, and just feel it pushing this nasty, nasty color off of you, almost like a bulldozer that's excavating dirt, pushing this color down. And everywhere that the color has moved away from, it's filled with the sunlight or the moonlight, and push it all the way down. And I'm not talking just on the surface level, not just on your skin, but through your brain, through your esophagus, through your lungs. So as the sunlight moves down, it pushes this nasty color all the way down to the earth, and you leave it there as fertilizer, because it really is just all the bullshit of 2019, and you just fertilize the earth.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to do. The white light of protection is very much the same, where you can imagine a bright light coming from above, and it fills every cell in your body with light rather than darkness or heaviness. And it comes out the bottom of your feet, and it comes out your fingertips, and it circles around you, and it creates this giant ball of white light, and it goes past as far as your arms can stretch. And when you do that, you imagine, once you have the ball in place, you imagine that that ball is hard as diamond on the outside. And this does not shut down your energy. It protects your energy from other people's energy. So first I would get rid of all your crap with the sunlight, and then I would bring in the white light. And it's like you walk around in a ball of light. If you have trouble with that, you can, when you go in the shower, imagine that the water is washing all the bad stuff away. And then when you put a towel, pretend you're putting a cloak on and a hood and some gloves, and those are going to protect you from all the bad stuff coming in. So whatever visualization works for you is what you need to use. And that just sits in the back of your mind and lets you know, okay, my bad stuff's back into the earth where it needs to go.
Yeah. So, with the grounding, I think, like, let's say if people are like, they live in the city and they may not have any outside space. I wonder if this could count as grounding too, but I really enjoy using, it's called mat spunk. It's basically acupressure, but it's like a little mat, and it has like plastic, quote unquote, needles. It doesn't go through your skin, but I really like it. And it's basically like acupressure, and you can stand on it with your bare feet. I like to lie on it. I mean, I talk about it to a lot of people. I'm like, these are great. They're really,
sounds wonderful.
It is great. Yeah. It's a weird sensation. You have to go past the sensation, but I guess that's something. It's also a good way just to take a moment just to feel actually your body, because different day is going to feel different, especially when you stand on your feet, because it can be very uncomfortable, sore, and then sometimes it's fine. It sort of gives you an indication of where you're at a little bit every day. So that could be a great way for people who haven't got access to the outside. And I would also add, so, we're just saying, like, people sometimes find it hard to clear their mind. So I have that, and I've noticed that for me, I have to, now I can actually sit down and meditate, but I used to, for a long time, I have to literally work out. I had to for at least an hour or do yoga for 2 hours. But that was quite physical before I could sit down and calm my mind. So and then little by little I've trained to sort of manage to do it. But every so often I have to still exercise. So sometimes for some people, the route to calm their mind and clear their mind, just go out for a walk, go for a jog, or go to the gym, whatever it is, do yoga at home, and that'll also help you. And then you get into that space before you then start to think about how do you want next year to be, what you're letting go of, how you're moving forward. And I guess like the last bit I wanted to add to what you were saying, relating to the question I had about, if someone feels like everything was terrible in 2019 and they just don't know what's good, they don't even know how they want to move forward because everything's so bleak. I would add that, obviously depending what your situation is, but what I have noticed, for example, is that sometimes, for myself, there are areas where I feel really confident, like today talking about this, I'm feeling quite confident. When I talk to my clients I'm coaching, health coaching, I'm confident. Different areas I'm confident. But then there'll be every so often place where like people think that, I'm insecure because I am insecure. There'll be things like my day job. I still have a day job. I work 3 days a week for doing something completely different. And because I'm not really, the people are great. I have nothing bad to say. It's a great job, all of that stuff, but it's not my element. It's not where I want to be. It's not where I'm free. I do not feel free as much. I have a lot of freedom, but there's there's loads of subtleties about feeling free, right? So I'm not in my element, and this is why I get insecure.
Of course.
It's what I've noticed. I was like, actually, I'm not an insecure person. I do have insecurities, but in general, I've noticed that sometimes actually if you're not in your element, you are going to be insecure. And so sometimes maybe if you feel like the year's been crap, you don't have any desires you're not motivated to go to work, you're not motivated to do things, maybe it's a way for life to tell you, maybe this is not your element. Maybe you need to look at other things. Maybe this is not what you're supposed to be. Like, try something else and follow your curiosity. If you're curious about something, start it out as a hobby. Go to a class.
Exactly.
Try loads of stuff. It's only by trying that you're going to know what you like and what you don't like. So just start with one thing, especially if someone who has has so many ideas and you're almost like there's too many ideas. You want to try too many things, like the other side of the spectrum. You want to try too many things. Start with one thing because you'll quickly find out if you like it or not before you make a big jump into it. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people I've heard, it's funny when you don't realize that you are responsible for what you are creating. I have a lot of people that come to me and it's not funny, but they honestly feel like they've been cursed.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
And there's negative energies and they ask me if they have an attachment or something else, like some voodoo doctor has told them and tries to charge them extra to get rid of it. So a lot of people have that kind of feeling where there's negativity around them. So what I tell them to do is something that's age-old. It's like an age-old tradition from the Aboriginal and Native populations is saging your environment and saging yourself with white sage. And it smells like marijuana. So you have to make sure you're not in, if you're in an apartment building, you have to make sure that it's not going to get out there. But what the intention of that is, you burn it like you would burn incense, and you would go through your home with the intention being that the smoke of the sage is clearing all the negativity. And I honestly don't believe in attachments and things like that, but if there is them, that the smoke will do that and clear that. You can sage your space, you can sage your car, you can sage yourself. I used to live in a neighborhood where it was very cliquey, so I would just put the sage out in a fireproof bowl on my front porch and just let it float out to the universe and hopefully heal some people.
Oh, because so it was because you said it was very cliquey.
Cliquey.
Yeah. Which is it's awful. Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just like living in high school when you're an adult, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that can be very frustrating. And what's kind of neat about sage, and they've done studies, is if you use it, it actually has antiseptic properties and it can clear your home, your space of bacteria. Which is like, if you're not, even if you don't get the energetic benefits, you're getting some health benefits from it.
Yes, yeah. Well, and sage tea, which I know is a different type of sage than the one you burn, like it's a different form of it. But the sage tea is very good to sort of, in the winter, to dry you out. If it's very humid where you live, it's cold and you're having cold and, you're always like sneezing. However, sage tea, sage herbs are good. So where would you buy that sage to burn? Like, where do people find that? And how long do you burn it for?
Oh, that's a good question. You could find the sage on Amazon. You can Google search where to buy it, but usually it's for sale. I've seen it for sale in bookstores. It's usually for sale in spiritual stores, new age stores where they sell crystals and gemstones. Usually they have sage, but I have found it online for a very good price.
And how long do you do that for? Like, let's say if you, like a room, like how long would you?
So you go around the room, you just walk at a slightly slower than normal pace. And I would leave a window open in every room, just so the smoke goes out. So anything, if there is anything lurking around, it can find its way out. Not that it's constrained by our physical buildings, but it just in your mind makes it more more available for bad things to leave. So it could take, you know what, you could do your whole house in 10 minutes, or you could take an hour and sit in each room. I used to go through my kids' rooms and say, give them good dreams and let them find happiness. And say, for example, one of my kids was constipated when they were young. When I smudged the bathroom, I would say, make sure everything comes out nicely and smoothly. So get rid of those bad constipation energies.
Did it work?
I don't know. I actually don't remember.
But you do little affirmations or intentions, basically. You say, this is what I want. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, the purpose is, I would always say, I'm using this smoke to have negative energies leave the home and stay away, because you have to say stay away or they'll come back, and to only attract positive energy to my home and to my family.
Can you say that again? What do you say about keeping
what away? When you're walking around with the smoke and you're fanning it, you could say all negative energies that are present, you're required to leave this home immediately and never come back. And the sage will allow only positive energies in this home and around my family.
And then you said to leave the window open to make sure it leaves, basically.
Yeah, just leave it open. It just gives your mind a more concrete picture of things leaving. And that's what it's all about, is your intention and what you're picturing. And if you're picturing things leaving, then chances are pretty darn good they've left.
Yeah, and also it's like, because it gets quite smoky, so it's good to have a window open anyway to not, it can get quite... And you mentioned something to me about taking a bath in Epsom salts or the ocean.
Yeah, because salt water seems to heal everything. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have access to the ocean and the sea air, get some Epsom salts and have a nice warm bath. And salt water, it will heal you. But just having a bath and your body being warm, as long as, your 2-year-old's not knocking at the door, and do what you need to do in a bath, light some candles. At this point, don't read a book, but whatever you need to do, the calm lighting will help you calm down to a place where your mind can get in touch with really what your soul needs. And the Epsom salts, I don't know if it's proven or not, but it helps I've heard it helps to detoxify you. Mm-hmm. It helps if you have magnesium deficiencies. That's what I've read. I don't know how true it is, but anything you can do to get your body to just relax will get your mind to relax.
Like what I would say is, like that this is how I do Epsom salts. Like I'll take like literally just one fistful, put them in the bath. I'll actually also add that's for the skin, which is what I tell my clients sometimes. If they want just to make like a bath a bit more special, you can actually buy like dried out milk, put that in, just like Cleopatra. Put like it's like dried milk, and I put that in. Put like a big, almost like a huge like tub of like running honey in there, like make it really luxurious. And you can add like some scent to it. If you're not allergic to or reacting to essential oils, you can put like a couple of drops of rose or lavender or whatever it is that makes you chilled. Yeah. So obviously this is, the disclaimer is that if you have any obviously skin irritation or any types of dermatitis, just, check, don't do it with eczema or psoriasis, the essential oils in the milk and the honey is just aggravate. But another thing I would say with the Epsom salts is I don't do it for more than 20 minutes based on just your health, because it can be, but I love Epsom salts. Like it's fantastic. No more than 20 minutes, and have a bottle of water next to you, because you'll get dehydrated. You'll feel it. And I think if you have kidney issues, which, you'll know if you do, just check with your doctor about that.
Yeah. But I'm pregnant or breastfeeding.
All of that, exactly. But I think definitely Epsom salts, going to the ocean, like remineralizing. I can never say the word in English, but how do you say it? Getting your minerals back, you know what I'm saying? Like it's really good for us. And it's fantastic. And then you can also at the same time, do a bit of a face scrub, put a mask on afterwards, do the whole shebang. Nice. So, you start off the year good. But it's definitely relaxing. And I think, if you then, when you pull the water out, when you finish with your bath after 20 minutes or max 20 minutes, watch the water come out, and then wash yourself, rinse yourself with like clean water. And that almost like you visualize it, all the negativity coming out of the bathtub as well.
Beautiful.
Thank That was my 2 cents. And so I'd love to hear from you about, I know you have quite a few things around how to tackle the new year and sticking to our resolution and plans. So you mentioned to me things like about law of attraction, setting intentions and stuff. And I just wonder if you could talk us through that.
Yeah, of course. There's lots of books and lots of great things online of about the law of attraction. So if you want to know more about it, you could certainly check there. But the biggest thing about law of attraction is to be able to see things in a more positive light. And you don't need a lot of intentions. You just need one or two. I think we bombard ourselves with those kinds of things. But with the law of attraction, the wording has to be right because the universe is very literal. And the wording has to be in the positive and it has to be in the present tense. So for example, if you were in business and your goal was to get more clients, you wouldn't state, I need more clients or I want more clients, because that's interpreted as always being in a state of need or always being in a state of want. So I have more clients or I have lots of clients, and you could make a specific number. I have 100 plus clients. So you have to frame it as if it's already happening. And so if that's your New Year's resolution, is to get more clients, it's I have more clients.
Can you say thank you for my 100 plus clients, or is that?
Oh, of course.
As if you already have it? Uh-huh.
Yeah, gratefulness and manners are the one. It sounds like, your 83-year-old grandmother. Always use your manners. Yes. The universe is very big on gratefulness and pleases and thank yous. And just, send it out to us. Expect that we'll take care of us. It will take care of you. When you send things out to the universe, you can write them down if you'd like. You can have a journal or pieces of paper, or you can just say them. But you have to not be connected to the outcome. You have to detach from the outcome, because if you want it really, really bad and you keep asking for the same thing every day, the universe is going to see that as a bit of a strain.
Wait. You're not supposed to say that every day?
No.
Oh, so that's where I've gone wrong then, because every morning when I do my little ritual and prayers and stuff, I always sort of say thank you for, what I have, but also for what I want. So I pretend as if I already have it. And I say, thank you so much for,
and that's okay.
All my paid sponsorships, whatever, for the podcast and that kind of stuff and all the lists.
Yeah, but that's okay, because that's gratefulness, right? That's thank you for this. If you were saying, if you're ordering it, that's being grateful. If you're putting out the order, you don't order things over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's almost as though if you had a friend that kept asking you for something every day and called you every day. I mean, you love your friend, but you're suddenly not answering your phone, or you're just ignoring their texts.
Yes.
So it puts a negativity on it. So we have to be very careful about those kind of things.
Okay. And so saying thank you as if you already have it, you can say that every day, and that's
of course.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now you can always go back and readjust your request. So if you just wrote down, I have lots of clients, and the universe, here's where we fall into some trouble. The word lots is it depends on your perspective. So lots to me might be 5, lots to you might be 100. So the universe, again, very literal and very specific. I have lots of clients. I have 120 or more clients. So sometimes you have to get really specific. It's why am I not getting more clients? Oh, because I used a relative term like nice or lots or some. So then go back and you can rejig it so that it can be a little more specific in order.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Are there other sort of terminology where we get in trouble for? I know when we did our episode, you said about a soulmate, that word would get us in trouble. Are there any other words in terms of manifestation, setting intentions that would say with the law of attraction, with manifestation, that gets us in trouble?
Oh, for sure. So first is the relative terms like nice and lots and some, and we have to use the words that are present and positive. So here's where a lot of people in January, they're ready to hit the gym and they're going to lose 20 pounds this year and blah, 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 blah. So how many times does that actually happen?
Exactly.
So what we're doing is we're focusing on losing weight. So losing is a negative term. And in our human brain, if we dig down, anytime we lose something, if we lost a ring, if we lost our favorite pair of shoes, we want to find it. So the universe, when we want to lose weight, will sorry. It wants us to find it again, right?
Or will make you not want to lose it because you know that when you lose something, you're sad.
Yes, exactly. So we don't think pounds and we don't think negative. We think positive. This year, I'm going to eat healthier. So not healthy, because healthy is too much of an extreme for a lot of people. I still want that donut. I still want that piece of pizza. But in general, I'm going to eat healthier and I'm not going to kick myself when I don't.
Yeah. And then you come to me and I'll help you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but healthier, I prefer that than healthy. Yeah, absolutely. That's
and you know the big gym rush of January, and then by late February, the gym is empty. That always happens. So don't commit to that every day. Don't say, I'm going to work out an hour every day. That's what I'm going to do. If that's not something you're used to doing, it's not happening. Yeah. So instead of saying, I'm going to get gym membership and I'm going to work out every day. Sure, you know what? You can get that gym membership, but you just program yourself to move more. So go for a 10-minute walk at lunch. Go, instead of taking the elevator, take the stairs. So move more and we tend to give ourselves way too much to do in a New Year's resolution. And that's why we can't meet it. It's overwhelming. We just have to chew, one bite at a time.
Yes. No, I think that's great advice. So maybe someone is there going, well, actually, I do not know. How do I know what goals to set? What are my intentions? Because I think sometimes also, we can be saying, you said, let's say, I have 50 more clients, for example, and it's positive and in present tense. Do you have to believe it? Like, do you have to have that intent behind it? Because sometimes that's a bit hard, isn't it? Sometimes we feel like, so my question to you is one is, if you've written that goal down, but you're not feeling for many different kind of reasons that you don't really believe it yourself that's going to happen. So you don't really have that intention behind the words.
Mm-hmm.
And so too, is it because you maybe haven't connected to because I know you mentioned to me something about connecting with your soul to help you find your purpose. It's something that you said to me. So I was just wondering if maybe those two are related.
Oh, of course. When you want to, we always think, what's my purpose in life? What's my purpose in life? And it's very often not connected to your job. Your job is there to pay some bills and, get you out of the house. But it's 9 times out of 10 isn't your purpose. But if you pay attention to where your mind goes when it wanders, that's your purpose. So where my mind goes, if I wasn't a medium, my mind goes to gardening. I love landscaping. I would do that. That's where my mind goes if I've got nothing to do. And what is it that makes you happy? What activities are you engaged in that make you happy? So luckily, when I do readings, that I feel so much energy and I feel so much joy. I feel so much energy digging in the dirt too. So those are connected to my purpose. And we often misunderstand purpose for job. So sometimes our purpose can't make money, but like you mentioned before, which was perfect. You start out as the hobby, as the side thing, do one little thing. And maybe if we put the work in, we will get it to be our job, because a lot of people think they can put out their intention to the universe and it's just going to be delivered. No. You still have to do some work. You still have to reverse engineer it from the big goal and find out what's the very first step. You need to take a step toward it, because when the other side sees you taking that step toward it, then more doors open up and more opportunities. And it's your choice as to whether or not you take advantage of those opportunities and move forward, but one step at a time. You asked, some people don't know their purpose. And I totally get that, because I floated around for a long time. And so what you do, you throw your hands up in the air and you say, okay, you guys, fix my life or improve my life, because the other side has access to all of your information. They know what could possibly happen. So you can just let go and say, it's up to you. Show me what I need to do and make it really obvious, because I'm just a stupid human, and I will follow your lead. And sometimes at that point, you don't have to know anything except that they're going to take care of you. But in the meantime, do things that give you that feeling that you're doing something worthwhile. Even if your feeling of worthwhile is getting this damn house all cleaned up, if that makes you feel good, do it. And the universe connects to the feeling more than the actual action. And they're like, okay, she's looking like she's wanting to feel good and feel purposeful. So we're going to send her her purpose. We're going to send her her hints and signs. Yeah. And then you have to notice what you notice, but don't read too much into it. Don't stretch too far, but it is very important to notice what you notice.
Yeah. And I think sometimes also like a clean house, and like you're saying, you maybe start cleaning because you want to feel good. I mean, sometimes that's a sign of procrastination, but I think a lot of the time as well, when everything is it's easier to see what you want and feel what you want when you're in a clear space. Nobody wants to do that in a shitstorm. It just doesn't work that same way.
Very true.
But what you were saying about, I'm so happy you brought this up. But, you said, let's say if you don't know what your purpose is and stuff like that, and you said, just put your hand up in the air and just ask the spirit, just fix this for me, or, help me with this. Because, what I was saying earlier about the insecurity when I'm not in my element, right? With the thing. Well, actually, it's exactly what I did this week, because I was, So I thought it was the Christmas party, and someone said, and there was obviously a lot of Christmas party in London. There's a lot of drinking, and someone mentioned something about just because the thing is that one person is a bit cryptic, so they'll say something and then you have to sort of like interpret it, which is very annoying. They like being vague, and it's like, well, I like to be direct, so this is causing a bit of misunderstanding. Yeah, so.
Sorry. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah. And so I was just like, I said something. I was like, so what you mean? What, I'm fired? He's like, no. He said, stop being so insecure. I was like, because he said, anyway, this way. But he said like, about being insecure. And I was like, oh. And I was just like, and it hit me. I wasn't mad. I wasn't actually mad at him, but it hit me because I was like, I knew it was true. I was like, I knew he hit on something. And it's sort of like, then I was like thinking about other stuff. Anyway, I was like, oh, okay, we sort of like went to a different topic or something. And then I went to the bathroom. We were in a club dancing. I went to the bathroom, and when you've been drinking, you feel more sensitive. So I was in the bathroom and I was like, I didn't want anyone to see me. So I went to the bathroom and I was like, okay, I was feeling upset. And I was just like, I basically said that thing where it sounds more sad than it is, because it's not, because it has a happy ending. But basically I was like upset, and I was just like, I basically remembered what you said on the episode. And I basically said, please help me. I don't want to feel this way anymore. Please help me, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then, I calmed down, put some water on my face, went back out. No one noticed anything, which is perfect. And so, and then the next day, I woke up in bed. I was in my bed, woke up. And that's when I realized it's because I'm not in my element. I've known this for a long time. So, like it's almost, to me, like I just realized now, I don't know if that's what happened. I think with the thing with like, when you do ask, for help, sometimes they give you clarity. So for me, I was like, I've always known that as much as I have so many good things to say about it, and I've got nothing bad to say about any individual, in that workplace. And I've chosen to be there, obviously, because, it's financial and stuff. But but I also always knew I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. It's not bringing me that fulfillment and the joy the same way I do my podcasting, the same thing I do with my health coaching and all that kind of stuff. So of course I'm not going to be, it's harder to be 100% sure and secure when you're not in your element,
Of course.
You're not going to have that same gravitas in a way, whatever the word is.
Yeah. No, and you're probably making the best of it that you can, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you could have a job flipping burgers and you could be a miserable old cow about it. Or you could make it the most fun, enjoyable job ever. So when the universe sees that you're enjoying working and even though it's not your purpose, when they see that you're putting an effort in, you get more openings. It's just A for effort. Let's give her some more things where she can move closer to her purpose and feel that feeling, but doing something purposeful. So as long as the universe is all about feelings and emotions, let's connect to those kinds of things. And then you'll get what you're striving for, as long as you put joy into the miserable job you're doing at the time.
So is that what maybe people mean by you have to, it's important to almost transform or transcend the situation you don't like. So let's say it's a day job for some people, like for me.
Yes.
Okay, mine.
Yes.
To actually make sure you make the most of it before you move on, because actually the more you make sure you do, like you make an effort, the universe will actually then open the doors for the things where you are in your element, like the podcast, the health coaching, that kind of stuff. Is that
entirely?
What you
mean? Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the only thing I do tell my clients that I find is very important, again, we go back to the universe is very literal, because we ask for help. But a lot of times us independent women or people in general we don't want to ask for help. So the universe, they have a hard time with that. And if they're standing there giving you help, but we're not noticing it because we're wrapped up in something or other, they're like, well, I can't help you. So that's where we go back to, don't use the word help. Say, okay, just fix this. Just fix the damn thing, improve this, make this wonderful.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't want help. I just want the damn thing fixed.
It's a bit like how let's say how you like to talk to a man, just fix the sink.
Yes.
Like, okay, just fix the sink. Simple.
Don't show me how to do it.
Yeah,
just do it.
Fix it. Yeah, just fix it. I don't need to know. I'll make a cup of tea for you, but yeah. Yeah. No, I love this. It's great. And so okay. So I guess this almost kind of covered something you mentioned about, when you wrote to me about, how to tap into your intuition to make 2020 your best year. Are there, and is there anything else is there anything else that maybe we haven't covered that would cover that? Or?
Well, I think it's important to be realistic, because a lot of people aren't realistic and they go in with these grandiose dreams of what they can do and they get disappointed because they're not getting it. And what I find is important is that the universe isn't in a hurry, but it's always on time. And we as human beings are very impatient, especially in this day and age, and we want everything now. So maybe January isn't the time for you to lose weight. And that's supposed to happen in August. So the universe is like, no, sorry, your request cannot be fulfilled at this moment. You have to wait till August. So you have to be very patient with them, because they're just waiting for the time when it's the most meaningful and helpful for you. And when we're impatient, it just gets pushed further and further away. So when we lose that detachment to it and say, I'm just going to try this, and if it works, great. If not, I won't be disappointed. Then you're more likely to get what you want, especially if you expect it to happen. Just expect that it's going to happen, but put in the work. You got to put in the work. Yeah,
I think it's that thing about expecting an intent, which I find sometimes, I guess, difficult, because
it's challenging. Yes.
It's challenging because sometimes it's like it's hard not to look at the reality. I said like the present time reality and go, well, how is that even going to be possible? Or how do I even deserve this? Or can I actually even do it? Can I nail it? Can I, what would you say to that?
So the how is none of our business. That's not, we don't have to even think about that, because the universe will deliver the how it's going to be done. And for example, I have people, here that come and see me, and maybe I say, okay, there's something, you need financial help. They're like, yes, I just need money. I just want money. I just da, 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 da. I said, well, you get it. You just have to ask for it. And then they put conditions on it. Well, I don't want it to be an inheritance. I don't want anybody to die. I don't want to be in a car accident. I don't want to be hurt. So that's out of our control. So we kind of have to, even though we put in work toward it, we have to not think about how, because the universe almost interprets that as, do you think we don't know what we're doing? It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So it can be taken that way, but the expecting it to happen, it is a tough one, and you have to kind of retrain your brain. Instead of expecting it to happen, it's already happening. This is happening now.
Yeah. And I think I'm glad you mentioned the money thing, because money is quite big. It's a big thing for everyone, because we need it.
For sure.
We live in a capitalist this world. So, you need money. You can't get around it. So
no,
I'm reading, I'm not finished with the book yet, but it's a book by Jen Sincero. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Jen Sincero.
I'm reading that too, Sincero.
Yeah. About
you are a badass.
That's it. You're a badass at she's got a few books, but I'm reading the one, You Are a Badass at Making Money.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Have you read it? Okay. So I love the thing she says, I never thought about this, but she said about how money needs you. And basically the analogy is that money is like ketchup on a French fry. And so basically the French fry and the ketchup need each other. They're complementing. She words it differently, by the way. So I can't remember how she says it. But all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. I need the money to help me fulfill my soul's purpose. I need money to help me do what it is that I want to do. And also to change it. And you have to change the wording, saying, okay, I love money because, which I've never used. I used to be like, oh my God, no, it's horrible. I used to be very like, no, I only want experiences, and I want, it's all about following my heart. But what I've realized as well, the older I get, it's like, actually, for me to have experiences, I need money. For me to be able to fulfill my passions, I need the money, And I think it's like, in this exercise, you have to write down, I love money because. So I've written down, for example, I love money because it enables me to go home, to see my mom, look after her, that kind of stuff. And I even wrote down things that I haven't got yet, but she says, I love money because, it enables me to have animals around me and loads of space, because I want to have pets.
Right.
Things like that. If you want to have a bigger space, you need more money, it's just the reality. And I think if you just rephrase it, all of a sudden I was like, and I've just have like these little mantras in my head now around it. And I think it's a great book for people if they have issues with relationship with money.
For sure.
Yeah, especially for people like us who follow their passions, often we feel odd about charging or things like that. You have to get over it quick, because if you don't have a business and you go down and you have to go back to the day job, flipping burgers, or a day job where you're not in your elements, unless they flip big burgers. Maybe someone wants to flip burgers. I'm not trying to be mean, obviously, but I was just saying, if you back into a day job, basically, that you don't enjoy, when you could actually have tried your passion. And and obviously, I don't know what's going to happen in a year or two. Or, maybe this will work, or maybe it won't. I don't know. Touch wood, it will work. I'm literally touching wood. But yeah, it's changing a mindset will help you feel better around it, and maybe help with that intention. Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a lot of clients, how they worry about the how, and they come and they say, I just want to win the lottery. And then I say, well, if I knew the numbers, do you think I would share them with you? No, I would keep them to myself. But it's just, stop thinking about lottery, everybody. I want you to instead say, I need to win the lottery, to say, I have cash, get me the money, say that to the other side, because in your life plan, if you're not supposed to win that lottery, you're not going to get it. And you've narrowed down your chances to get the money. So you say, get me the money, please. And then let the universe reorganize your life and the people in your life and the places you go and the things that you see, because there's always cash somewhere in your plan. And could be $2, could be $2 million, but they will start to drop it in because now that you've opened up the pot from just the lottery to get me the money, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And I guess like a nice way to sort of like almost like tie those different elements together, if you don't mind, one, as you mentioned about, connecting to your soul. So, look into your curiosity, what are the things you enjoy, that kind of stuff. So what's been important, connecting to your soul's intention and things like that. And also you mentioned about, once you've got that, yes, do not worry about the how, but also like, you mentioned, you also need to take action, right? So
yes.
I wonder if you don't mind if I share about I like to share about how I do that.
Okay.
Once I know, yeah. So once I've done all of the prep work about, we were saying earlier about, what's important, looking back on 2019, then I have to look forward to 2020. And this is how I do, because I think this has been really helpful to me in planning out my business whilst I still have a day job, that kind of stuff. And so once you know what you want, what you're looking for, and what your plans are and your goals are, and you feel aligned to it and it feels good to you, part one of what I do is I'll just write down on the spreadsheet. I usually just use spreadsheet. I use Google Docs, so just use Google spreadsheet on there, right? It's free. Part one is like, I'll just write down again, okay, so how do I want to feel by December 2020? And then and I'll just list them all out. And then you probably have something like you have, let me know, obviously. And then and then two, I'll put down like how I want to feel now. And I list those down. And they could be the same. But, you may have a different kind of goal for like, you may know there's a few things you want to reach 2020. And then I wrote down what's important for me. And those are the things that you look back on or the things that made you feel good, whether it's like being healthier or following your curiosity. And then I write down another column. I put down the big goals of 2020. So all the things that you want to hit. So you have that visually. Yeah.
Yes.
Then part two, I have then another spreadsheet. It's all under one document, but you can open like a different tab underneath.
Of course.
Then tab two, it will be, I write down the big milestones to get to my big 2020 goals. So let's say your big 2020 goals are like, you've got A, B, C, and D. So you just got those as bullet points. Then when you, in your part two, your second tab, the big milestones to get to those 2020 goals, you then write down, not a to-do list, just a big milestone. So it could be one is, okay, what service are you offering? Maybe like the market, you need to have like a marketing plan, whatever it is that you have to do. So then you need to execute the plan. You may need to hire people, whatever it is that you're doing. Then you open another tab, third tab, and then you write down all the tasks. Basically, write down for each milestone what all the things you need to do. So one, you may need to write a job description. You may want to look on whatever it is you're looking for people, whatever it is. You may want to get help in Facebook groups. You may want to ask other peers. So write all the tasks you need to do for those things, writing content, edit the content, delete a lot of the content.
Right, break it down.
Break it down.
Yes.
And then you open I'll open a third tab anyway. And I put down, I have like a 6-month plan. And the 6-month plan is just I put down January to June. And each month I've put down maybe just, don't put too much. That's the idea. Don't overload it.
Right.
So in the 6-month plan, I can actually just look at mine. What do I put down in there? So 6 months plan, it will be literally 2 bullet points in each. So for example, one may be editing the videos I post on YouTube and Instagram. And then the months before would be, like do a whole batch of videos. Whatever it is, however you like to work. I like to batch things together.
Right.
But so put like 1 or 2 things under each month, like don't overwhelm yourself. And then the last tab, part 5, you put down weekly priorities and you focus just on these each week. So basically what it means is that once I get down, so I work backwards, right? I have the big plan and then I break it down. Which means that once I get to my weekly priorities, this will take you like max a day to do. It will just take you a few hours to do. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. Once you get to your weekly priorities, I write every week. I look at what I do is I go into my 6 months plan. So I look, okay, what is it I need to achieve this month? What's my, that's all I look at. Okay, I need to do A and I need to do B. Okay, so then I go into my weekly priorities and I list out the task which I had in my tab number 3. And I put down, okay, and I just weekly, I just do like maybe 3 or 4 tasks, however much time you have, don't overwhelm yourself. And that way, every week, You just look at your weekly thing. Every week, I have every Sunday night, I have a prompt that I do I'll update my weekly priorities for the week. And that way,
Great.
Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all I need to look at is that tab. Because if you look over your big goal for the year, it'll be overwhelming.
Yes, for
that was
sure.
a mistake I used to do before. And I'd be like, oh my God, I have to do what? Oh, and then I get nothing done. So just look at the weekly and also know that things always take 3 times longer than you planned. It's just how it is.
Yes.
Even when I over time it's always going to take longer, but things happen, especially if you work with other people. You can, even an example for the podcast, I've been stood up, I've had people reschedule tons of times, and then I had to learn to I have to set boundaries, and now it's working more smoothly now. I'm more prepared.
Wonderful.
All it means I've learned to create more of a pipeline and make sure I'm ready. So it's, things will happen. You can't control people. So, and also yourself, you may be sick, you may get a cough or whatever, and you can't work as much that day. So yeah, that's.
Yeah, I love how you broke it down. That's brilliant. That's wonderful.
I can't take full credit for it at all because I get it from Marie Folio. I've done B school with her. So it's,
okay.
So she's got have you heard of her?
No.
Yeah,
no.
So Marie Folio, and it's one of the things how she teaches the plan. She also does free videos around this on how to plan your year. She's got free videos for 2020. So,
nice.
So I get it from her, and I sort of adapted to me as well.
Of course.
But that is definitely it's from her, and I found it really helpful.
Yeah, and that's exactly how people need to approach their New Year's resolutions, is not that giant thing, but their New Year's resolution shouldn't be, to make $1 million. It should be, you break it down week by week. So if you keep looking at that, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, but you're still sitting in January and you've only lost 2 pounds, it's okay. You've made progress, and you're doing the little things. So make your New Year's resolution, not I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Make your New Year's resolution, I'm going to lose 0.5 pound a week.
Oh, no, but we said we're not losing anymore, right? We'll be healthier.
Or sorry, what am I thinking? Yeah, you're right.
How do we say it then?
Our brains are trained to do this, right?
It's habits. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to improve my weight by 0.5 pound.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's just, I'm going to become healthier by doing this. So I'm going to eat healthier. So my brain is even trained to lose weight. That would explain the size of my bum. But what are you going to do?
You look fabulous. You do not need to lose weight at all.
We always think we do, though, right?
Yeah, but that's definitely a society construct, because I so heavily disagree with the whole concept of it. And I think unless someone is morbidly obese, and you know the difference, and it's
affecting their health.
Yeah, they can't walk up the stairs. The fat is also laid out differently to someone who's bigger but athletic. Mm-hmm. You have people who are bigger and athletic, and you can almost see the shape it's not laid out the same way as someone who does not move, and who's actually, so all of these things. That's it's like a whole other topic, but for sure, I think, just it's important that you feel good in yourself, and that, if you feel that you can do the activities that you want to do and you feel good, then that's what matters, and maybe, I guess let's, to play like, I should also find a different word, because I like to say play the devil's advocate, but that's quite negative, isn't it? But like, in terms of playing the devil's advocate, maybe also the universe is like, well, you don't need to lose that bum. We like that bum. You need to keep that bum, and that's why you're not losing it. So, it's funny because actually there's an episode that, so obviously now we're recording ahead of time, but it's coming out on Monday. So let's see what day it's coming on Monday, the 16th of December, which would have already been out by the time this comes out. It's with the dominatrix, Mistress Marley. And one of her thing is that she has clients that do, it's called ass worshipping. And basically they come in and they're just, because she has like a bigger booty, and they come in and like they talk to it, they call it names, like, endearing names, nice names, and just worship it for an hour, and she gets paid for it. I'm like, that's fantastic.
Wow.
And also, it must be nice to get all that positivity towards your body. Like it's great for your cells as well, your body cells, you can feel it, like when the way you talk to plants, right? Like you do gardening. So just talk to yourself and go, no, just do some Buddha worshipping for yourself,
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So is there anything else that you wanted to touch on or share about that I may have forgotten about?
I think I would just say to people, I would say, don't make New Year's resolutions just for the sake of making New Year's resolutions. It's a timing thing, and don't force yourself to do something if the timing isn't right, because your resolutions aren't going to come to fruition. And don't have huge expectations of yourself. And you can't expect yourself to change overnight or your life to change overnight. So be grateful for the little things that come along, and more things will come along that will make you even more grateful. And allow yourself the time to get things done, like you said, in the time that's realistic. You might get sick, you might do this, you might do that. So just be kind to yourself and watch yourself flourish.
Yeah. No, I love that. Absolutely. And just being kinder to ourselves,
it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
That could be a great New Year's resolution, if anybody. Just be kind. I'm going to say nice things to myself.
Yeah. And nice to your bouté as well. I think you need to write that down.
Yeah. I think if I start calling it a bouté, I think I would be happier about it. Not my ass.
I think it's a great word, bouté, Bouté. Bouté.
For sure.
Yeah. I'd love to ask you, I know I've asked you this in the first episode that we recorded together, but I would like to ask you this question in the context of resolutions, goals, moving forward, intentions. And so if you were to sort of look back at your younger self this time of year, what would you say to her?
I would say, don't worry about the things. Don't think about the things. Things won't make you happy. And I'm not going to go all gushy and say happiness comes from the inside, but the things won't make you happy. Look for your purpose and do more things that make you happy. Yeah. And you'll find your path.
Yeah. 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 Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Could you please let us know where people can find you?
Sure. You can find me online at lynnicholls.com. You can find me on Facebook at Lynn Nicholls _psychic medium, and on Instagram at Lynn_Nicholls, or just search Lynn Nicholls and I will pop up somewhere.
Perfect. And I'll put that all in the show notes. But in case someone doesn't look at them, this is Nicholls, is Lynn with 2 N's, Nicholls with 2 L's. So it's easy to remember.
2 N's, 2 L's.
2 N's, 2 L's, yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'd like to wish you and everyone else a happy new year and a happy new decade.
Yes. Happy new decade, everybody.
Yeah, let's make this count. That's it. That's our episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to rate, review, subscribe on iTunes, follow on Spotify, or for all of the other platforms. Whichever way you show love is how you can support this show. Drop me your questions or suggestions for future episodes via the website at angie-s.com, link in the show notes, or come and find me on Instagram. I have 2 accounts. One is Too Old for This Shit Podcast, and the other one is Health Lifestylist. Again, links in the show notes. See you next week, and until then,
using health inappropriately.